What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse. Today we are reacting to the season finale of My Adventures with Superman, and what a journey it's been. Nikki, are you ready?
I'm ready. I cannot believe, it wasn't even that long ago we started the show, and now the season's over already.
We went into this show thinking it was going to be a really fun, anime-inspired Superman series. We were gonna have something to watch that's really in like a combination of both of our interests, of anime and superheroes.
Like both our wheelhouses, basically.
Yeah, and then to get what we were given, which is one of the best adaptations of the character of Superman we've ever got, is really mind-blowing, and I can't wait to see how we're going to end this journey.
I'm ready to go.
All right, guys, starting episode 10, Hearts of the Fathers, right now.
Ooh, a certain father is going to be involved, won't he?
Yes, probably. Probably. What are you talking about, Nikki? Who could they possibly have been teasing all season long?
It's a mystery.
Whoa, what? Is this a flash forward?
A flash or a flashback. Or nightmare.
Oh. Oh!
Oh!
Jesus!
That's how you know it's a nightmare.
Oh! That was very Star Wars-y. Like when Luke goes into the cave on Dagobah. It's almost like...
I know why you sent me here. You tried to conquer this planet.
Oh.
I'm not like you. I'll never be like you. And if you come to Earth again, I'll be here to stop you.
My son.
Wait, is my son the same in Kryptonian as it is on Earth?
Probably not. They just wanted to translate that specifically to hammer home the moment.
Yeah. Maybe Jor-el is just teaching himself Earth English.
Clark, thank you so much for hosting me and my dad for Thanksgiving.
Oh.
I'm bringing yams this year. It's gonna be yam-tastic!
Nice.
Yeah.
Look, you heard Jimmy. It's gonna be yam-tastic.
Oh.
I'll go get our usual.
This is an interesting
You're sure?
direction.
Mm-hmm.
We said no more secrets!
What are you guys talking about?
How excited we are to go to work!
I'm glad they didn't drop that plot thread.
Lois, what did you do?
Just the usual stuff.
You.
City Safe Superman by Lois Lane, Clark Kent, and Jimmy
Oh, promotion!
So the only thing to do was to make you reporters.
Wow.
Yeah, what a swerve.
The only thing is, does anyone ever actually do that in real life?
Aww. That's sweet. They're both crying. Besties.
Aww.
New besties.
Aww.
Wow.
Lane, go. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Aww.
But I need you to stay, Olsen. We need to
Nice.
talk
Oh.
about Flamebird.
Oh. Yeah, he can't be having a
Lois
conspiracy
Lane, we are
theory
so
website now that
proud
he
of
revealed
you.
himself.
Yeah.
You had it framed.
Aww.
By the most talented, heroic lady I know.
Uh-huh.
Clark, peel potatoes. I'm in the turkey zone.
Ah. What a progressive household. What I meant that, like,
He kept him
Pa Kent's doing all the cooking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
as you.
And then commands Clark to help him.
So
Absolutely.
again.
Which is how our house runs. Like, I cook the Thanksgiving turkey.
Mhm.
I cook the turkey on Thanksgiving.
And you do a wonderful job.
Potatoes.
I'll help you find the general.
Thank you, Lois.
That's sweet.
Aww.
Oh, no, Dad's
Oh,
here.
God.
What do I do?
Jesus, her hands were shaking.
Mm-hmm.
He's rude to you, and Ma, and Pa, and then everybody hates me.
Hey, not even your grumpy dad.
Oh.
Oh, nice Dutch angle.
Hi, hello. Nice to meet you.
Please,
Great sound
call me
design.
General Lane.
Oh.
Oof. Well, there it is.
And sliced pears from the lanes. Thank you,
Aw.
Lois.
She's so sweet.
I know.
Spend your time. Any
Oh.
hobbies?
He's so stilted.
I love the juxtaposition of how cold he is to how warm Ma Kent is.
What are you doing with your life, Kent?
Jesus.
Sam, Clark does a lot. Just saves
Oh.
the entire city.
Doors!
Oh, Ma Kent.
Ma, Pa.
Turkey's not ready yet.
Let's say you had an enemy.
I'd turn him into a friend.
Aw.
Hated you.
So
Are you talking about
wholesome.
Lois's dad? No matter what he says about your perfect son.
Ma.
They're the best. Oh, they're so good.
Classified.
Oh, yeah. Right.
She has no idea.
No.
Leave Pa to do whatever it is
And
he's
it
doing.
also sets up like why she didn't go to him for help.
Mm-hmm.
Do you always wear glasses?
Oh.
Hey, everybody, I have news.
Oh, this is Jimmy!
Let me show you the kitchen.
James, I hate Lois's father. She is as sweet as apple pie, but that man is a lot.
Don't tell anyone, Jimmy. But this turkey is refusing to come to temp.
Oh, been there. You just gotta take your time, Pa.
I don't know who you are.
Oh my god, what a great gag.
For bringing your stuff, which you left at the planet.
Jimmy, give
Oh.
that to me. Now.
You would think that she would put that deeper in the bag
Yeah.
at this point. Oh. Oh.
Clark, what's going on?
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Kryptonite,
Oh, no.
a poison gin.
Oh my gosh. Kryptonite is so viscerally, like, painful. Like, you feel it. Well, they make you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I have eyes on Nemesis Omega, and I'm carrying out termination orders.
Oh gosh. It's hard for a parent to just let go.
Oh.
What the hell?
Oh, nice.
That's weird.
Whatever it is, it's good.
Wow.
Or not. Whoa.
Oh gosh. Oh.
There's so much more to this.
Whoa. Oh, badass.
Oh.
Oh.
There you go.
Survive.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's the portal.
I love you and I can't lose you.
Oh. This is almost like I think this is an homage to like Crisis events in DC Comics, where because the sky usually turns red during Crisis, like Crisis on Infinite Earths or.
Oh, he's taking the whole thing with him.
Come on, Clark.
Oh, Jor-el.
He's helping him.
So maybe this means he didn't want to send him to conquer Earth.
No, I don't think so. I think that was very clear, and I think he's doing the only thing he can to show Clark
That he's looking hard.
yeah, like he wants what's best for his son.
Yeah, and I know his character is not one that would
Yeah,
have
but
done
with
that.
this series, you never know. Oh, God.
I mean, like you say, you don't ever know.
Come on.
Oh.
Oh.
I also just say this score is incredible.
Absolutely.
My family.
is almost like an homage to like the classic Superman origin of Jor-el sending him in a pod.
Mm-hmm.
Except now he's doing it again, but he's old, and it's his
to
way of
save
showing him,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to invade. I just want you to live.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, dude. Haven't we been through enough this season?
Too hard for him not to obey a direct order.
What? General!
False alarm. Dude, I'm pretty sure someone saw that. The sky turned red.
Dad, thank you.
Is he Superman? Is he the Flash?
The turkey is still not to temp.
Now that's a real hero.
He's definitely done that
Dinner.
before, right?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if that would work.
I sold Flamebird to the Daily Planet for $5.6 million.
What?
Oh,
What?
nice.
Pass the yams, please.
Yeah, what a way
Yeah.
to end the season. Oh.
Not yet.
Oh. Okay. So obviously, Neil, that is a reference to I think we all know General Zod. And that I'm assuming was Brainiac, who's like his little, for now, assistant. Just waiting, just watching little pictures here, seeing if there's anything super cute. Oh, look at that family
Aw.
picture. Okay. So I immediately following this, DC officially announced that season 2 is currently in development. So we got confirmation of season 2, which we already got from the creator and the people running the shows.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of already hinted that they were able to do 2 seasons at once when they were developing season 1. So that's really cool. I'm glad that that's coming because what a tease. It looks like Zod has beefed up since he first arrived on Earth because he's looking pretty beefy. And Brainiac, interesting design choice, but I'm not surprised by how they redesigned all the villains in this. And interesting, he really fits with, instead of being more rounded to go with his 3-circle design like he is usually in the comics, he has a more rounded design with rounded armor, and now everything's very sharp and angular to reflect the Kryptonian designs of everything in this series, which are very pointed edges.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. But that's my comic corner for the second, for right this second. Go ahead, Nikki.
Well, I was gonna say, is Brainiac normally aligned with the Kryptonians?
It's usually a means to an end, right? Like Jor-el in some iterations creates Brainiac to help, and it's a rogue AI situation where Brainiac becomes self-aware and decides to take over Krypton, or is the reason for the destruction of Krypton in a lot of cases. So there's for every iteration of Superman, there's an iteration of Brainiac. So for every different version of Brainiac, there's a different explanation for his origin. But there have been times where he has been aligned or pretended to be aligned with Kryptonians.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so to answer your question, yes.
No, that's interesting. Just because I don't feel like I know Brainiac. The name's familiar. I don't know if I will watch anything.
He's probably one of the 3 most iconic Superman villains. When people describe Superman villains, it's usually one of 3.
Let me guess. Okay, Lex,
Yes.
Zod, and Brainiac.
Yeah, pretty much. And then followed directly by Doomsday and Bizarro, which would be the next tier. And then everyone like Toyman and all the other misfits over there, like Livewire and all the C tier villains in Superman's Rogues Gallery. But yeah, I kind of figured Nemesis Prime was going to be Zod, but I'm glad we got confirmation. We also got confirmation that, you know, the drones were being controlled by Brainiac, and it looks like he's the one running all of that AI. He's kind of Zod's point man. He's almost like Galactus's herald, because Galactus, when he's looking for a new world to devour, his heralds out, and they'll go scout a planet, and then they'll come back and they'll be like, dude, you hungry? I got you. And that's kind of what's going on here, except Brainiac is kind of like a herald for Zod. But I'm sure something's going to happen, and Brainiac's going to do his Brainiac thing. But anyway, let's talk about the more important stuff. And that is the overarching theme of this episode, which is family, more specifically, papas.
Papas
Papas and their sons. we have a really interesting dynamic. We have multiple really interesting dynamics this episode.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we finally see Jor-el again.
Yes.
Which we saw him much earlier in the season, but we didn't really see Clark interacting with him or going back to the ship all that much. And not that he was like super, super present this episode. It was considerably more than I would have expected or that he's been all season.
Yeah, and he's not in this episode a lot, but when he is, it's very impactful, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the trajectory of Lois's storyline with her father.
Yeah.
It's kind of an opposition of that, which is crazy because we have the main relationship of this episode, which is Lois and the General, who we get the big meeting. Everything has been building to this. So Clark finally knows. Hijinks ensue. But I love how he doesn't immediately tell Lois, like, your dad's a bad guy, because he wants to protect her from that.
Right. Well, it's also just so uncomfortable. And it's
Yeah.
like, what's he gonna... He can't say in front of him. He has to, like, navigate it so delicately.
Yeah, that's an awkward meeting your girlfriend's parents for the first time.
I'm just so glad that he was at least smart enough to kind of recognize him.
Yeah, but it's also it's also part of, like, the Superman theory, right? Where you don't expect Superman to be at the Thanksgiving table.
Yeah.
And especially for someone who spends all of his time hyper-fixating on Superman, you kind of like, yeah, that maybe it's just in my head. I'm probably just have Superman on the brain.
I was going to make a joke. Considering that the Kents took a picture with him, maybe people will think about that.
You're right. But, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that an alien ship rose out of the ground on their farm.
Yeah.
Really interesting. But I love how they played that main... Because that seemed to be the relationship that they were playing the other relationships off of. Because we get that really interesting, that really awkward scene between the cold, closed-off nature of Sam Lane and Lois's relationship compared to the warm, open, extremely loving relationship between Clark and Ma Kent. And how they're constantly in conflict with each other's ideals and views on their children, which I found hilarious and very interesting as a people watching standpoint.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, even from like contrasting dynamics, like Lane is so stilted. It just so Kent hobbies.
The delivery is great because it's a very he's been a general. He's been in the military the majority of his adult life.
I know.
He's used to having very stilted conversations, like matter-of-fact conversations, details, and that's it. No fluff, no buff.
I know. It was just so funny because it's so cliche, but it's tried and true for a reason.
So good. And then you have the second contrasting moment, which is Jor-el saving Clark.
Yes.
And saying, I want what's best for you. I want you to live F our people.
Yeah.
F our world. Which Sam Lane kind of is forced to do, which is not his intention at first. He's like, F this guy. I only care about my country. And then when he's confronted by Lois, he's like, I'm doing this to keep you safe.
Yeah.
We kind of get his main character motivation. And when he became a father, he went out of his way to make sure that he takes care of this threat so that what happened to all of the people at that base that day will never happen to his daughter ever. Which is a bit of a stretch because of your obsession, we're an absentee father.
Yeah.
So you actually hurt your daughter more than you help. But we both see that it's interesting, right? Because Sam Lane thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
He thinks what he's doing is the right thing. And he thinks he's doing it for Lois. But because of that, he hasn't been there for most of Lois's life. So he has sacrificed his fatherhood, his child's childhood, in order to do it what in his head is the right thing. But really, we as the audience know is not probably the right thing.
The one thing I'm a little surprised never comes up, and I'm sure it will in season 2, is if his grief has anything to do with it, if kind of their circumstances.
Oh, I think he has survivor's guilt from that day. I think he's upset that not upset, but I think he feels guilty that.
Well, I mean them and her mother.
Yeah, but we don't know what happened to the mother.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, hopefully that's explored at some point, since I would hope he's coming back as well.
Yeah.
And we delve more into that, especially since he didn't find out.
Yeah. Whereas, so in a way, Sam's sacrifice kind of plays it off like it's the selfless sacrifice that he abandon Lois for the majority of her life to do what he calls the greater good.
Yeah.
Whereas Jor-el's sacrifice is actually the selfless sacrifice. He sacrificed time with his son, or he sacrificed being with his son in order to give his son literally the best life possible.
Absolutely. And I love the way that he helped Clark in this episode, because from the get-go, Clark's plan of self-sacrifice seems like it was nigh impossible to come back from. So the fact that they already had Jor-el earlier in the episode and having him interact with Clark and clearly displaying his love for him, I think that makes that resolution even better.
Oh, absolutely. His love for him, and also having to hear your son think that you're just terrible.
Oh, God.
Think you're the worst. Which I guess both Jor-el and Sam had to hear this episode. Their children basically think of them like monsters.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we get a nice... It's a nice mirror image of the two fathers and the two children, which are the two leads of the series. Man, what an intense episode! I think not nearly as intense as the last two.
No, and that's what I was very curious about. What they were going to do with this episode is that the primary conflict, the bad guys were kind of taken care of, or at least pushed to the side. And I think and I was wondering, are they going to pop their heads back up again? If they do, it's not going to be in the same way, obviously. But I really loved this episode for the reason that it was both a bit softer at the beginning and kind of, it feels a bit like a denouement, but also there was a very major threat he still had to take care of. But it felt right, though. It didn't feel shoehorned in all that much.
No, it all flows. And this ending, which is more of an epilogue than it is a finale. Like, last episode was definitely the grand finale of the season. This feels like an epilogue and set up for season 2. But it also is a good bookend for the narrative of this season, right? The narrative being like, who am I? What am I? And last episode, it was Clark solidifying his place on Earth. Like, I am Superman, I am Clark Kent. And then this episode has him solidifying his connection to Krypton. Like, I'm done with you guys. If this is who I am, then I denounce my heritage, and that's something I want to see get picked up, because it's a really interesting, unique take on Superman and his views of Krypton. For him to hate his people so much is a really, really good place to start a season where you're introducing General Zod, because that's what Clark thinks all of the people of Krypton were, and if they're like most iterations, they're a peaceful race of intelligent beings that look to increase their society, to better their society by the use of their brains and technology. So I really like this season focused a lot on Earth and Clark's self-discovery, and I hope next season they focus more on the grandiose aspects of the lore, like who am I as a Kryptonian. Like, this season was, who am I as a man, as Clark Kent, as Superman, and next season I want him to get in touch with his other lineage.
Well, what's so funny is, as you say all of that, that almost makes me start to think of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, in the sense that they have job security. He has his best friend and girlfriend. He has his family. He has found all this out about himself in his role. So now he's almost reaching self-actualization.
Yeah.
So it's like, now that he has all these other, I don't want to say simpler components, but these more baseline things kind of solved for him, at least for the time being. It's like, now he can kind of delve even deeper into his identity and just fulfilling those needs in a sense.
Absolutely. I mean, because that's a great point for you to bring up, especially built upon the layer of the foundation that Ma Kent gives to Lois, where she's like, he didn't have a lot of people growing up. He couldn't. He was a loner for the most part. He didn't have anybody, and we're so glad that he has you and Jimmy. And that's when Lois is kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna help him no matter what, because I'm one of the only people he has. And so you're right. He's building up himself layer by layer. But having friends and a girlfriend and a family and a supportive family, and now a job, and now he hit a self-actualization. Like, he's getting to the point of peak Superman, I should say. Like, he's getting to the pinnacle of his arc, right? Which is Clark fully developed as the Superman that we know and love. A very confident, moral beacon of hope that stands above everyone else, but who stands before everyone else, but not above everyone else.
Absolutely.
If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. If you want to catch all of our My Adventures with Superman reactions, click the link on the page. And until next time, guys, stay versed.